What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode here on the Juice Fetish Garage. Today we're going to be working on the 2022 Camaro LT1. We're going to tackle some cooling mods. If you guys remember the last episode we did when we took this car drag racing, we were really against it with the heat. It was a really hot day. It was affecting our times. It was affecting the vehicle's performance. So we're going to try to alleviate that today by changing out our thermostat. We're going to go ahead and swap it out with the 174 degree thermostat by K-Tech. I'll show it to you guys here. This one is part number KAT A7260. It's 174 degree, and we're also going to top off our antifreeze with some 50/50 ready to use, and we're going to add this water wetter additive. Now, I used to not be a fan of additives. I was like, it's what do you call it, snake oil. But my friend Richard, he runs really good. He's very consistent. He's been drag racing for a long time, and he swears by certain additives, one of them being water wetter. So I take my buddy's word for it. I'm going to use it on my car too. So hopefully it helps keep the temps a little bit down and allows us to maintain most of our performance, because remember, a cooler engine runs better. So if we could keep those temperatures down, we should, in theory, be able to run faster because we'll have all our power, right? So versus it gets hotter, it starts running slower, etc., etc. So yeah. And the reason why I actually went with the 174 degree versus 160 degree thermostat is that the 174 degree thermostat by K-Tech requires no tuning. And this car is not ready to get tuned yet. We still have to do E85, we still have to do our full exhaust system, we still have long ways to go before we could get this car tuned. And yeah, when you go 160 degree thermostat, the computer starts thinking there's something wrong. It keeps the fans on. It triggers a check engine light. It goes kind of into like a limp mode. So unless you're going to get tuned, I wouldn't recommend the 160. For me, it's an easy swap. So I'm going to go with the 174 right now. See how fast we can go at the track with simple, tweaks. Once we start building up the car to the level where it needs to get tuned, then we're going to go ahead and swap it out to 160 degree. So yeah. But this is a simple mod, guys. Let's go ahead and tackle this now, and I'll show you guys what we're gonna do. But first, we're actually gonna remove all the engine dress up. This is something that I prolonged doing because the car was brand new. It didn't have an oil change or anything. I recently took this car this weekend to get an oil change at the dealer. It's first one. So now that it doesn't have to go back to the dealer for anything really, we're gonna go ahead and remove all the engine dress up. So I feel like all this stuff here is a layer of thermal blanket. It's like a thermal blanket. It just retains all that heat that's trying to come off and escape through the vents. It's just like a blanket. It just holds that heat in there. And again, it's like wrapping our intake manifold in a little blanket. We don't want that. We want this thing to have the coolest air possible going into that air intake, and we don't want it to warm up and heat up. So let's try to keep our air intake cool. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, why don't you put that insulation, that aluminum sheet that goes in between the manifold and the block? Well, these cars already have this really thick foam under it, so I don't think it gets better than that, guys. When we do an MSD and we remove that big old foam block that sits between the block and the manifold, then we'll do the aluminum sheet. Right now, I don't think there's a need for it. So yeah, let's start by removing these covers. Removing these covers is hella easy. Sneak your fingers in here, pop them out, and these things are nice. I really like how they look, but it's a thick plastic that traps that heat, so we don't want them. We're gonna call this episode the Cool Down Part 1. Pretty dramatic, wasn't it? Okay, now this cover here is held in place by 4 10mm bolts. For this, you will need a long socket. Now we simply unplug our map sensor. There it is. And we're gonna pop off our fuel line. This is pretty simple. Sometimes it takes a screwdriver because it's not that simple, I guess. It's simple in theory, but it's hard in reality. There it is. You have to use a screwdriver. Bam, there it is. Cap this back up. All right. And here's the hard part, guys. These things have like these little clips here. The harness itself, all the way around, has these little push-on clips all the way around the cover. That's really the hard part. However, it's not that hard to take off if you use some pliers. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. Where is it? We're simply gonna go under it. Where is it? And we're gonna grab the clip and we're gonna pop it out. There it is. See that? Not impossible, but it is hard. It is pretty hard to do. So yeah, come underneath the plastic clip, and then you just pry up, and it is kind of difficult. There it goes. This is definitely the hardest part of this whole project. You need a good set of pliers. Wire cutters seem to work good too, but these are perfect because these have a little angle. Once all the clips have been removed, you're able to actually fish this thing out. So one thing to be cautious of is the map sensor on this side. It actually fits in that little pocket here, so you're gonna have to kind of fish it out. There it goes. All right. Ta-da! Okay, underneath the first layer of plastic, you have this other little blankie. Yes, I called it a blankie. This one, there's something in the back of it. So this little blankie, I call it blankie because it's hidden. Nobody really knows it's there. It's held on by like a clip in the back. It's not really a clip. It's like a little, the little cardboard, whatever it is, the little fabric thing. It kind of has a little lip where it tucks up under the manifold. So you're gonna have to like either try to get in there, pry it off, or get a little aggressive with it. I'm gonna try to be gentle with it. Lift it over. There it is. All right. Got it. All right, guys. See, this is what I'm talking about. This piece right here, the intake manifold, the little plastic piece sticks out of here. So it traps in there. So if you get in there and you pull this over the manifold, it'll come off real easy. Now this is looking a lot better now. Our intake manifold is not as buried in between all that dress up, so ideally all the heat could dissipate faster and get out through the vents, escape through the hood or whatever, but at least it's not trapped in there. So in theory, it should help alleviate some of our air intake temps and make us run faster. So one more thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull these guys off, these covers, these valve covers. Not valve covers, valve cover dress up, valve cover covers. Yeah. One thing to mention about these guys is that you will see more, you will hear more valve train noise, but that's the reason these covers are there for. It's there to cover, conceal all the valve train noise and all that stuff to give you a better driving experience and all that stuff from the factory. It doesn't bother me too much. It's not like my Chevelle where it was all crazy. These cars have pretty good insulation on the firewall and all that stuff, so it's not going to be too crazy, but you will hear a little bit more. So disclaimer, these are held in place by 2 bolts. There's one here, you guys see it there, and one in the back. This side is going to be a little more difficult because we have our catch can, we have our oil cap. So let's start with this side first. Alright guys, so I have my socket here. I'll fish it in here. Oh, it's going to be a little difficult to get in here, that's for sure. Oh man. Space is of an issue here, so we're going to have to do it by hand, unfortunately. So we can't really storm through it, but let's see here. All we really need to do is loosen them up. Once we loosen them up, we can do them by hand. And these don't come off. They stay there. I don't think they come out. I don't know. Let me see. No, they get stuck there. So you just unscrew them and you leave them there. And there's one more here. Oh, this is going to be hard to do with one hand. Once these guys are removed, you're going to go ahead and come in here and remove this guy. This one's, there's like a little clip here. Let me see if I can actually pull this up. Get my finger out. Pop this guy out. All right. Careful with this bracket here. A little bracket here is going to get in your way. There it is. Ah. All right. Bam. There it is, guys. It's off. And again, look at another little blankie, another little thermal layer. So again, this is here to minimize the noise that gets produced by the engine and makes its way into the cabin. So, you know, GM puts all this stuff in here, but again, it's one more layer of heat trapping material that this engine needs to fight. So we're gonna get rid of it. To be quite honest, guys, I kind of like the look of the naked motor versus all the dress up. I think it looks better. What I may do, honestly, I may take the valve covers off, the valve covers themselves, and have them ceramic coated. I think that would be really neat, and it'll be another layer of thermal protection, right? It'll keep the heat away from the intake manifold, and hence alleviate some air intake temps too. So we might do that on another episode. All right, guys, let's move on to the harder side, which is this side. It's not that much harder. The reason I say harder is just because we have to fight the catch can. The catch can is in the way. I'm gonna try not to remove it, but we'll see. And we have one more step, which is the oil cap. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up our hose again. The hose is off. We'll go ahead and do our oil cap. Okay, so now let's see. Come on, catch can. Are you gonna give us trouble, catch can? You are gonna give us trouble. All right. So our catch can is giving us trouble, so we're gonna have to remove it. Ta-da! Go ahead and close this bad boy. The last thing we want is one of these guys to go in there. Okay, put this guy back. Now we make sure that all our connections and our evap hoses and everything is reinstalled back nice and secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and just double check all our connectors. Even though we didn't remove our coils, I'm still gonna check them, because if you're ever here making movements, you might loosen something up that you think you didn't, and you'll be chasing your tail. So just double, triple check everything, and you should be good. All right, everything looks good. Our map sensor, our catch can. All right, so we took the hoodie off of our LT1, so she should run a little bit more fresher now. So now let's go ahead and change out our thermostat to the 174 degree thermostat by K-Tech. And this is really simple, guys. I've done this before on multiple cars, so you guys seen it before, but you guys never seen it on the LT1 10 speed, this car. So let's go ahead and do it again. One thing I would like to mention is you're gonna want to minimize the amount of coolant that hits your accessory drive, like all your pulleys and all that stuff, because they will start to squeak. Trust me, guys, it never fails. You get that coolant on those pulleys, they squeak. So I'm gonna use a trash bag, I'm gonna use rags, I'm gonna just make sure that I minimize the amount of coolant that falls into my accessory drive system and minimize the cleanup that I have to do. So we're gonna go ahead and start by opening this thing up. Okay, guys, never ever open that when the car is hot. Okay, I did it right now. I opened it because my car's cool. I have not even started it. My car was, it's been sitting here overnight. It's freaking cold. It's freezing cold. So I'm okay to do that. But if you guys ever run into a situation where you have to check your coolant or change out a thermostat or anything like that, never ever open that when the car is hot. Wait till the car is nice and cold. You will burn yourself. Okay, now here, this is simple, guys. 3 10mm bolts. You need a deep socket for this. Okay guys, so I got the trash bags. I got 2 Home Depot bags to help catch some of that fluid. I am going to take an intermediate break real quick. Gotta eat my breakfast. What is breakfast, guys? Fire! Fire! That means good for the newer generation, the ones that use Cap'n. Okay, so I shoved some rags down there. I double bagged my bag and I put a rag in there to try to soak some of the stuff up. And let's see how this plays out, guys. I'm gonna come in here. I have a feeling that's not gonna be good enough, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully that works. Oh, we got coolant. Oh, we got more coolant. No, no. We're not catching it. We're not catching any of it. Well, we got some of it, but not all of it. Oh my goodness. Come on. There, guys. We got some of it, but our placement of the bag and our rags was sort of a fail. We got some of it, but not all of it. And I think the Home Depot bag has a hole. Damn it. And this is our thermostat here. It's a cute little thing. Check it out. This is it. K-Tech. And K-Tech is the only one that I use, guys. I've had very bad experiences with all the other ones on the market. So, alright guys, and this one's pretty simple to remove. You simply push in and you twist. Look. Yes, papas.
Look it.
Then you take this out.
Look.
Alright, and now we're left with something that looks like this. So now we're gonna go ahead and pull this guy out. This is our stalker, and we're gonna drop in our K-Tech. Bam. There's only one way to do it. There's a little pin. You put that pin in that little hole, and bada bing, bada boom. There it is, guys. Okay, guys, and now we get our spring. Put our spring back in. Put our cap back on. This is probably like the hardest part of this whole thing. Yeah. There it is. Now, this one, you want to make sure that you are perfectly in there. There it is. Okay, that's good. We're gonna grab our O-ring. They got stuck here. I'm gonna put it back in the housing. There it is. Okay. I'm gonna grab a clean towel. Wipe the surface down. Put this bad boy back in there. Reinstall our bolts. Okay. Okay, we secure them by hand. Make sure it's nice and tight. Tight, but not enough to break the plastic housing. It is a very thick plastic housing, so there's nothing really to worry about. But you always want to be careful because you're screwing into aluminum. All right. Here it is. All right, guys. So replacing this thermostat is actually really easy. The hard part is actually the cleanup, containing the coolant. That's the hard part. We tried our best today, but I think we failed. I've done this a lot smoother before. I've used like the big white trash bags, like for the trash bin. Put a whole bunch of rags in there. I got comfortable. I thought I was the GOAT or something, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna storm through this. I've done this 100 times, and yeah, you get comfortable, you start slacking. What I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm gonna just take my time and clean everything really good. Soak up as much of the water as I possibly can, because I really like my car and I want to keep it looking new I want to keep it, you know, clean. I want to keep everything looking really nice. I work really hard for my stuff. And yeah. What I will do now, guys, is get some water and throw it down in the skid plate. Just to wash off anything that got left behind. You know, because all that stuff's gonna trap dirt.
Did I go butterfly?
Oh, you did? Okay, guys, I'm gonna go the extra mile here and I'm gonna blow some of this stuff off. So what I'm gonna do now, before we start the car, I'm gonna put my water wetter in there because I want to make sure that it gets in there. And then I'll top it off with some regular 50/50. And again, guys, I'm not sponsored by any of this stuff here. I'm just simply using it because my friend Richard, you guys remember Richard, the guy with the C8 Corvette? He's a longtime drag racer, and he swears by certain additives that he uses on every build. And he's a regular drag racer. He's always at the track, and he's tested a lot of things, so he knows when something is snake oil and when something is not. So he likes this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. And what water wetter is, guys, improves the ability of coolant to wet heat transfer surfaces by 50%. This provides significantly better coolant contact in the cylinder head and can reduce coolant and head temperatures by as much as 20 Fahrenheit. Can be used with 100% water in racing, but does not protect magnesium or alter freezing point. So check it out, guys. And this stuff is supposedly supposed to help, you know, our coolant system be cooler. So why not give it a shot? It's fairly cheap, and yeah. So now we simply top off with our 50/50. Alright, so now the only thing left to do now is start it, check for leaks, let it go through a heat cycle, let the thermostat open, make sure it opens and closes, and top off our coolant when it goes down, when the thermostat opens. So let's fire it up. No check engine light, which is good. These cars are super sensitive, guys. So if there's anything wrong right off the bat, you always get check engine lights quick. One more thing to mention. We got no belt squeals, no pulley squeals. Yes, or damn it. Well, the pulleys are pretty new, so they'll dry up, they'll be fine. But heard the little squeak, damn it. That means we got some of that coolant into the pulleys, so it looks like it stopped. They'll be fine. Ah, you bastard. They'll stop. They'll stop. Alright, so we have no leaks. Our temperature is at 174 degrees, which is where the thermostat should open, right? We have good flow over here. Seems like our thermostat has opened and the belt squeal stopped. So we call this video a success. So hey guys, I'm gonna cut the video here because I actually have a big project that I have to be working on right now. I just wanted to squeeze out some Camaro content for you guys, but let me show you guys what I'm working on over here. I have this 2015 Silverado. This is a beautiful truck. However, it has some contamination here. So it's a beautiful truck, but we need to remove that oxidation. We need to ceramic coat it. So yeah, so I have this big build that I need to work on, and these are the little projects that allow me to afford car parts, guys. So unfortunately I have to be working on that right now, so we're gonna stop right now with the Camaro content. Thermostat is working fine, the car is not overheating. We have the cap open for a little while now to get all the bubbles out. So yeah, so I'm gonna let it run for a little bit, make sure the thermostat opens all the way, get all the bubbles out. Let's see our temperature. Temperature's at 176. I'm definitely seeing more bubbles come out now, so I think it actually opened up now all the way at 176. Oh yeah. definitely saw a lot more bubbles there. So like I said, just let it run for a little bit, get all the air out of the system, because the air actually will make the coolant run hotter. So it'll defeat the purpose if we, you know, leave air bubbles in there and stuff like that. So when I get all that stuff out, let it run for a little bit, get all the air out, we'll top off the coolant, cap it up, and should be good to go. Yeah, so I'm gonna go work on that pickup truck. I'll vlog that for you guys. I know some of you guys enjoy that content, because I get messages on Instagram saying, hey, you know, how do I get rid of this scratch, or how do I do this, or whatever. And you know, I know a lot of you guys are watching those detailed videos. So so yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and vlog that over there, because I gotta get it done, guys, so I can make some money for some car parts. And then we have some other stuff for this car. I have the underdrive pulley, we have the MSD, we have an LT5 throttle body. We have quite a bit of stuff. So I may put the LT5 throttle body on this now though.